Hello, YouTubers, and especially you fellow scrappers out there. I went out on a street scrap today and I got to thinking, we just announced a pandemic yesterday. The president gave a speech in the Oval Office last night, and here I am out here street scrapping. Now, I don't want to be an alarmist, cause a lot of issues or anything, but I think it's worth having a little bit of discussion, and I thought I would go ahead and dedicate this particular street scrap to the question of, should we keep scrapping during the pandemic? Come on, let's dive in while I'm street scrapping and have a little talk about it. So I started talking about it while I was out scrapping this morning, and I kept getting interrupted because I'd drive along and I'd find some scrap, and so then I'd talk about the scrap, and I figured, you know what, that's going to just be really annoying for people. So I'm going to dub over that part of the audio and just go straight into a discussion here with everyone. All right, so the World Health Organization announced yesterday that we are in a global pandemic with over 100 countries having people that are tested positive for COVID-19. The numbers change quickly as to how many people have been exposed, how many people are dying, so I'm not going to go into that. But it did cause me to stop and say to myself, well, is this really such a smart thing to be doing, going out street scrapping? What are the pros and cons here under these circumstances? So I did a little bit of research, and I took a look at how long the COVID-19 virus is viable. In other words, that you can catch it after something happens. So for instance, research says right now that if somebody sneezes into the air, coughs, and sprays the COVID-19 virus into the air, the virus is viable for up to 3 hours, right? So that means that if you're in a small space with another person and they sneeze and they have the virus, you can get it for up to 3 hours. Now, I got to thinking, all right, that's really not a big deal for most of us. When we're out street scrapping, we're usually by ourselves. And even when we go to the yard, it's not like we're right up there close and personal to the guys and gals that are in the yard monitoring us. Shoot, half the time at my yard, they don't even come up. They might come up and say hi, but we're not really around that many people when we're out street scrapping. So I figure that's probably not such a big deal. But I did also look at how long the virus can remain viable on certain surfaces that may be of interest to us. So it turns out that the COVID-19 virus can remain viable on copper for up to 4 hours. Okay, so how many people are going to cut out a piece of copper pipe from their house and put it on the street within 4 hours of you picking it up? Probably not many at all. Most of them put it out the night before. So I don't think we have to worry about copper. Cardboard, on the other hand, is 24 hours. Now think about that. 24 hours for the COVID-19 virus to remain viable on a piece of cardboard. And we interact with cardboard all the time. We don't collect cardboard, of course, but there's stuff in cardboard. We're moving cardboard around to look for other things. Sometimes we're even putting things in cardboard boxes to make it easier for us to carry it around. There is a possibility there, because even if somebody puts their stuff out the night before, chances are it hasn't been out there for 24 hours by the time we're messing around in it. So the cardboard part got me a little bit, concerned. Well, then this next one really got me concerned. Plastic and stainless steel, 2 to 3 days. All right, now think about that, 2 to 3 days. That means if somebody puts out, and I'm going to make the assumption here that if it'll live for 2 to 3 days on stainless steel, it's probably going to live that long on, regular steel as well. That's probably a bad assumption to make, but still, that the virus is viable on a product that we handle all the time. And somebody may have put it out on the street the night before, and then we come along and get our hands all over it. All right, so here's the thing. I don't think we need to panic. I'm not saying everybody should stop street scrapping, all right? But maybe we ought to start paying a little more attention to some of our health and safety considerations. Now, I try to wear my gloves all the time. But come on, we all know that it doesn't always happen. Some of us hardly wear gloves at all when we're out, and our hands show it, right? Full of scrapes and calluses, and they're hard as leather. But that's not going to prevent you from picking something up. So maybe a common sense thing is to get more religion when it comes to wearing gloves. Now I got to thinking about the gloves things. Okay, so I'm wearing my gloves, and you've seen my gloves. You're seeing them in this video, the heavy-duty leather kind of gloves. But that virus is, if it's on a surface and I touch that surface with my gloves, now it's on the surface of my gloves. And it's not at all uncommon for me to accidentally touch the surface of my gloves while I'm putting them on and off and things of that nature. So then that asks the question, all right, so should I wear some sort of rubber gloves underneath of my work gloves? And I don't know the answer to that. I'm not. I clearly am not in this video, and I'm not planning on doing that. And I'm certainly not planning on taking around a spray bottle of Clorox and bleaching the scrap before I pick it up. So I don't know what the answer is. To be perfectly honest with you, I don't have an answer for you. I just thought that it probably was a good idea that we have the discussion and use this video as a way for folks to drop comments on what they're going to do. If you think your comment is going to be a little more involved than just leaving a comment on my video, then maybe make a few statements during your videos when you're putting them together here over the next few days, and let people know what you're thinking about and what other precautions you're going to take when you're out scrapping because of this COVID-19 situation around the world. Again, I'm absolutely not trying to cause panic. I don't want people to stop what you're doing or any of that kind of stuff. Not suggesting that at all. I just thought it would be worth having the conversation. Okay, having done that part of that, what I wanted to do, I'm going to go in here and get the audio back up again from the street scrap, and let's get back to it. It's light too. I would have expected that to have a little more weight to it. Oh, what does Scrap and Pallet Man call that? Helium metal. Well, now we have something interesting to think about. Holy bajoli. Oh. Go. And a few other things. Really want your aluminum. not doing you. Are you copper? No, just hose. Little solar light, which I'm sure doesn't work, and that's why they're tossing it. Wooden wagon, which I'd like to bust up, but I'm not going to. There's some cord fruitage. Yeah, we'll put you in there. Wood. And let's see. You're empty. Oh. Well, we'll go ahead. This is all going to scrap, so here's an electric motor. Man, I really regret not being able to get that old table saw. God, that would have been nice. But I am not going to pull a K&D or moose or a moose scrapper and yank my back. Not worth it. It's just too easy. We think we can do too much, and the next thing you know, we're laid up, light duty or worse. So sometimes discretion is the better part of valor. Getting a little wet from the sprinklers, but I think we've got some aluminum here. Yeah. And I can mess with that. There's some more extruded. Confirm. Yep. Okay, Marty, I know this makes you nervous, so I'm going to do this one really fast and get on with it. Oh, there. Pressure hose. I'd like to get the brass off of that, but we're not going to. Ubiquitous wire shelving. Where would we be without it? Well, for scrapping on a pandemic, we're doing pretty good. That table's going to become a problem. I can just tell. So I stopped at a new construction site and I actually found the manager for the framing company, or the owner of the framing company. And he said, you know, you're the first guy who's ever asked me, and that means I'm going to let you have first right to everything in the dumpster. He said, you come back as much as you want, the guys will see you now, so whatever's in there you can have, and we'll chase away the other folks. So I always think it's interesting what happens if you're just polite and you ask. So now I just have to go get it unloaded. Hey, don't forget to leave your comments about your thoughts on street strapping during the pandemic. I really want to know in your comments down below what your plans are and if you're going to make any adjustments. All right, everybody, have a good one and stay safe.